times in my life when my gut tells me that Anchal, this is probably going to be one of the best books you read in your entire life. And when I hear that voice, I try my best to do certain things that will make my reading experience even more amazing. I will get the best edition possible for that book, because there is nothing better than holding the gorgeous book in your hand and feasting on it with your eyes when you're reading it for the first time. It is a very risky move to actually invest yourself in a book so much even before you get into the book, but if all of this is going to result to an experience of a lifetime of reading one of the best books there is in the world, it is a risk worth taking. I have done all of these things for one book, and that is The Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller. Hey you cuties, I really hope you're doing nice, and I'm sending a lot of hugs and positivity to all of you. Hi, if you're new, I really hope you enjoy the content, and if you do, please consider subscribing. In today's video, I am going to be reading The Song of Achilles and vlogging it to tell you whether it is worth the hype or not. I started reading this book last week and I read 4 chapters and then I dropped it because I was highly intimidated by it. I have no background knowledge of Greek mythology, and the names and the words, everything was so new to me that my brain was not able to grasp it all. But yesterday I picked it up again. The Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller is actually the retelling of Iliad by Homer, but from the perspective of Patroclus. Patroclus is famous as a very close friend of Achilles, and Achilles is one of the most celebrated warriors in Greek mythology. He was the best of the best, but the relationship between Patroclus and Achilles has been dignified as friendship, whereas Madeline Miller, as she speaks in the preface of the book, thinks that it was so much more than friendship. It was not portrayed in the best way, which is why Madeline Miller decided to write this book from the perspective of Patroclus to celebrate the relationship and the love of Patroclus and Achilles. I am also going to try my best to make this video a very beginner friendly video if you don't know anything about Greek mythology. And from what I read and after that what I am reading in the book, I have realized that you can do a little bit of research on the Trojan War or all the other mentioned people in the book, and that will definitely give you a sense of familiarity when you are reading this book. However, the book is written in a way where even if you don't do your research and you start as a beginner and you are not very interested in the Trojan War mythology part of it, but you want to read a romance between Achilles and Patroclus, then this book is very easy to read and you can just read it straight away. Me doing my research actually did get me even more attached to the book than it was last week, because last week I just felt like I am reading something out of nowhere, and as you can see, I am also annotating this book. I am new at annotations, so I'm not very good at it, but after my research I got a little bit of a glimpse as to what I can expect from the book, like the themes I can expect from the book, and on the basis of that I have decided to tab it. First we have the blue color, which is the conversations that will be there between Patroclus and Achilles, because obviously this is a story about Patroclus and Achilles. Then we have this peachy color for beautiful quotes, because the Song of Achilles is actually famous for its quotes. Then we have this green gray color for sad or tragic quotes, because apparently this book is a tragedy. And in the end we have the sea green color for pride and honor and courage, all of those sorts of quotes, because this book also includes war, that to the Trojan War, one of the greatest wars in the world. There are themes of pride and honor and courage, and I want to tap that too. When you're reading how Patroclus looks at Achilles, the love he feels for him and the love he receives from him is just 100 pages into the book, and I already am in love with the book. The relationship between Achilles and Patroclus is, I cannot describe it in words, because the way they look at each other, and the book is written in the best way in the world. It is so poetic and it is so lyrical. You can feel it on your skin, you can taste it in your mouth, the words that you are reading. It's not heartwarming, it's satisfying my soul. Because of tabbing, when I am reading the book, I am like literally diving into the pool of the world of this book, and I'm not aware of my surroundings. Yesterday I kept on reading it till I finished 100 pages, and then I looked up and I realized, oh my god, I mean, where was I all this time? I'm speechless. I am like literally speechless. We have Patroclus, who is not strong, but he is so brave. It is beautiful. And what makes him braver is the love he has for Achilles, and how he's managing, how he's processing, and how he is consuming everything that he is seeing in a war, and the things that Achilles has to do, and still forgiving him, even though on one side he does not really approve of it. It's beautiful to read, but also utterly heartbreaking and sad. And then we have Achilles, who has a lot of pride, and I don't know if I honestly like him for his pride or not. There are certain things Achilles is doing which he shouldn't have done, and I have liked Achilles a lot since the beginning of the book. He has been a proud, confident person since he was a kid because of the prophecies, and I did enjoy that a lot. I like that sort of confidence. It is fascinating. I understand why Patroclus would have been fascinated by that and how it influences other people, but the things that he is doing now towards the end of the book, like, why are you doing that? And then we have the king and the horrible things he is doing. Basically, all of these things are supposed to be really intense and overwhelming, and they are intense because when I get into the book, I'm like literally into the book, but it is not overwhelming at all. It's not overwhelming me at all. It's been written so calmly. I'm calm throughout the book. How is that happening? I don't understand how that's happening. I'm just so into the book, you know. I think I'm saying the same thing again and again. I'm just so into the book. It almost feels like I am with those people, standing among them and seeing everything. The last like 60 pages, 70 pages of the book are left. So what are you telling me? What is going to happen in the end? Like what is going to happen? What am I supposed to expect? It's 5:33 right now, and I have other things to do. So I actually have to keep the book right now. I was supposed to keep the book like 3 chapters ago, but I kept reading. But now I have to keep the book. I'm really liking the annotation, by the way, and also I do not recommend you buying this edition to read from it because it's very difficult reading from this edition. I am happy that this is the book that I'm reading from, and I am annotating this book because it just makes the book look even prettier. But I do prefer the paperback, and that's it. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye. It's the next day. I have woken up like 2 seconds ago. I woke up, washed my face, did everything, my skincare, did journaling, and now I have my coffee over here, and I've not even showered yet because I couldn't care less because of how excited I am to read this book and finish it. Last 60 pages to go. I am not going to waste any time. I'm just going to get into it. The room smells like warm coffee and warm sunlight, and it's just such a good reading experience. Oh my god. What is wrong with Achilles? I'm using a special red color over here because this part needs that color. I cannot believe this. What is wrong with Achilles? If there is one thing I wish for in my life, if there is one thing I will pray for every single day to all the gods in the world and to Bhagwanji, it is that I should never ever be blinded by stupid pride and stupid honor. So mad at him. For almost 2 hours yesterday on and off because I was watching A Man Called Otto, which is the movie adaptation of the movie A Man Called Avi, and they have done such a good job with the movie that I loved it. So many scenes I was crying. I was anyhow crying when I was reading A Man Called Avi also, but to see it come to life like this in such an amazing way. Tom Hanks is so good in it. I love the neighbors. It's just so good, and I have cried so much in that movie. And now I have read this. I am not going to cry on camera, so I will be back, but I am tired of crying because of books. Okay, this is the last line in the book. It was so obvious that's going to happen, like obviously, but the way in which it happened, like the last line, it's just, oh my god. I am going to re-tab the book a little bit because I have used the red color for places where things went wrong. Right now actually I'm going to sit and cry, and then I'm going to come back to you with a review. It's very difficult for me right now to hold back my tears, so I am going to go. Alright you guys, I'm done with the book. I am done with the devastation that I'm not gonna cry now. I cannot cry on camera. Whenever I look at the footage when I'm editing, or the couple of times where I have cried on camera in the past, it's really cringy, so I'm not gonna cry. But you must know that I did. My heart is in pieces. I so badly want to hate Achilles, and there is a huge part of me that does, but the ending and everything that happened with Achilles and everything that he did, and oh my god, the writing of this book and the symbolism is just all so... Okay, one second. I have never read such a beautiful book in my entire life. The last line is everything to me, and I have no idea how I am going to read anything else after this. Well, we know what my next book is. It's going to be Circe. Circe has to be my next book. I cannot believe these two gems have been lying in my shelf since so long and I have not read them, and I'm so happy I have both of them. Please someone tell me that she's coming out with some new book. I don't know. Also, I feel this growing liking and obsession for Greek mythology, so in my head what I'm going to do is I'm going to read, sorry, I have already read this. After this I'm going to read this. Then a few days back actually I got this Stone Blind, which is a story of Medusa, and I received this also a few days back, which is the love story of Hades and Persephone. I don't know, I'll have to Google the names. I always Google the names before saying them, but it's all Greek mythology. There is a huge chance that my brother has all parts of Percy Jackson, which is also Greek mythology, because he was a big fan of Percy Jackson when he was a child. So if he still has all of those books, I will probably read that also, and I think I'm going in my Greek mythology obsession phase. This book is just out of the world. I feel like I stopped at the right point yesterday. You can actually think of it as two parts. One of it is till where I read yesterday, till like 286 pages or something, and the second part is the last 60-70 pages. So many things have happened in the last pages. The heartbreaking element, yes, it was sad also, but not like that heartbreaking, if you know what I mean, where I just like die or something. But the last 70 pages got me, and the way Madeline Miller writes is just out of the world. In total, I have actually devoured the book. If I was not vlogging it and I did not have the restraint of, oh, I only have to read it in the daytime, I would be finishing this book in one night and nobody could stop me. Is this book good for beginners? Yes, but the beginners in the Greek mythology, not the beginners in the reading world itself. As beautiful as it is, and as much as I want you to read it to fall in love with reading, and I would suggest you read it to fall in love with reading, I think that there are parts of it, like the symbolism or the writing is just too lyrical for beginners in the reading world to actually get what she's saying. If I read this book 2-3 years, or whenever I started reading at that time, or if it was the first book I ever read, I would be clueless completely. I wouldn't be able to enjoy the book at all. So I'm speaking from my experience and my perspective, and I don't think this should be the first book you read. But if you do want to enter the Greek mythology world, then it is amazing. You can read it even as a beginner in the Greek mythology world. It is also good for teenagers, I think. Just read the trigger warnings, and if you're good with it, you can read it as a teenager also. Again, the whole thing of understanding the symbolism, it comes into play. But if you're good with it, if you have read enough books and you want something really rich with rich characters, mythology, I mean, this has probably actually happened. I mean, it's just like Shiva trilogy or Ramayana or Mahabharata. The Trojan War is so famous in the Greek mythology. It may have actually also happened. I mean, all of these things just blow my mind. So if you want to read something like that, then you can read it, definitely, even if you're a teenager. My world has shattered. I am so happy. Today is Saturday and I finished this book today in the morning, because now I'm going to go about my day and I'm going to take a break from reading for the weekend, because I don't usually read on weekends, so that I can get out of this book. I added some colors, the red and the orange. The orange color is for the bravery of Patroclus, because he is not a very strong person, but he is brave. And I have marked, I can't talk about this without my voice going crazy or crying, but there are parts where Patroclus because you can see his growth or him being brave for love, and the red ones are for where things have started to go wrong. Now you cannot mark where things have started to go wrong before reading the full book, so I have gone in the reverse way and I marked the red ones later on. And Patroclus's bravery, I thought there'll be just like one scene or something, but that's not true. There are so many scenes of him being brave, and so I decided to give him also a separate color. Is this book worth the hype? Honestly speaking, it's not just worth the hype, it's underhyped at this point. Like, I don't know, you have to read this book, okay? You have to read this book. It's also not very war heavy. The Trojan War obviously is an underlying concept throughout the book. It starts with it, but it's not very war heavy. It's more about the love. So if you want to read that and you're in the right space and you're ready to be devastated, read this book. And that is it. I'll see you guys very, very soon again. I'm going to go and collect myself now. Bye.